Now, the Clark International Airport Corporation says it will fast-track the implementation of infrastructure projects to further develop the Clark Aviation Capital. That's the over 2,000-hectare prime land surrounding the privately run Gateway. Now, the Clark Freeport and Special Economic Zone is a hub for business, industry, aviation, education, and tourism in the Philippines. For more on this, we're joined by Clark International Airport Corporation President Jojit Alcazar. Jojit, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, it's good to have you here to talk about Clark and the vast potentials when you talk about this airport. But that said, there are still observations that Clark is pretty much underutilized when you talk about capacity. Maybe you can give us some quick numbers as to the size of Clark Airport, how many passengers it's supposed to accommodate, and what it is currently serving.
Sure. The current terminal is designed to accommodate 8 million passengers. It was designed to, but the current built-up is for 4 million passengers. Okay. Our private operator, Lipad, who is in cooperation with the Changi International Group of Singapore, projects that we will end this year at around 2.4 to 2.7 million passengers.
Okay. So that's just what, a fourth of what it can accommodate, really. What seems to be the stumbling blocks when you talk about utilizing Clark Airport as a gateway also to the Philippines?
Well, in terms of growing the passenger count, we're slowly doing initiatives in the Clark International Airport Corporation to support the infrastructure. Previously, SIAC, that's what we call the Clark International Airport Corporation. Previous to SIAC's main goal was to operate the airport. That was a few years back up until it was privatized. And then when it was privatized, and just in a couple months ago, we launched the Clark Aviation Capital brand. What is the Clark Aviation Capital brand? We're basically the land development and aviation group of the Bases Conversion Development Authority. Our main goal really is to develop the areas around the terminal.
Okay.
And once we've developed those areas around the terminal for the Clark Aviation Capital, then we see more passengers coming in.
Okay,
we need to build the infrastructure.
What's the vision for that? Could you give us a clear picture of what that infrastructure would be like once completed?
Most recently, we announced that there are flagship programs by the group. The flagship programs include the National Food Hub, which supports the vision of the President of the Philippines for food security in the Philippines. It's a hub-and-spoke model that will help our farmers and growers be able to trade their products nationally and internationally. Another program that we're doing is the Clark World Convention and Events Hub.
Okay.
Right? We know for a fact that the MICE industry is a big industry, and the Philippines is not really, it's not really within the top countries in Asia as compared to your Singapores and Hong Kongs of the world. This is mainly because of the infrastructure that we need to build. So we're building a World Convention and Events Hub. We have an international convention center there, sports arena, and an airport mall, for that matter. Also, we're doing a lot of things on sustainability.
Okay.
So we're doing urban renewal and heritage conservation program. We are rehabilitating the river there, sort of like making it Clarkie of Singapore, so commercial. But at the same time, for sustainability, it will be a rain catchment, and that rain catchment really helps in flood prevention, and at the same time recycle water for the needs of not just of Clark, but of the neighboring cities.
And Jojit, when you talk about these developments, how much would that translate to volume, capacity, and benefit for the airport itself?
Well, definitely. As I've said, if the current terminal is designed for 8 million passengers, this would really help improve that. Besides the fact that we're also building an international aviation campus there that would really attract a lot of international investors into the zone. When we built up MRO centers, maintenance and repair and operation centers of the major airlines.
Okay. The airline industry and the airport industry in general has experienced a setback during the pandemic when, you had very lean travel. Today, we're supposed to have recovered from that already.
Slowly.
Are you seeing the numbers that you wished to see at these levels?
At the terminal, Now, for if it was individual passenger count, not yet. I think at that time, 2019, Clark was already at 4 million passengers.
Yeah.
Right? So right now, we're ending at 2.7.
Okay.
Easily, I think our partners at Lipad and Changi can rise it up to 4 million by next year, to the capacity for them to be able to expand again.
Okay, when you talk about logistics, which is the other side of revenues for the airport, supply chains,
that's growing.
How is that coming
That's
along?
growing. I have the numbers in my phone, but that's really a growing industry, especially because of the fact that the major cargo carriers are in Clark. No? You have your UPS and FedEx there, and hopefully DHL soon. And some of the major cargo carriers also here in Manila.
Has that been part of the vision
Clark?
For Clark Airport? Because you still see a lot of the importation coming into the Philippines through NAIA.
Through NAIA, via air. No? So that's part of the vision of Clark. No? To be able to service the cargo industry, the MRO industry. We have a lot of land there, as you've shown, 2,300 hectares of land, for us to be able to accommodate all of these big industries.
Lastly, tourism. How does Clark play a role now in terms of promoting the Philippines and getting more tourists to come to the country, not exactly through NAIA?
Yeah, Clark as a whole. We have our partners there, the CDC, who's been driving tourism to Clark. Major hotels are there, major casinos are there as well. And then we have this new development by the BCDA, which is the new Clark City, which drives the industrial and marketing side of things and sports. In fact, Clark was awarded, again for several years for sports tourism. So besides sports tourism, as I've mentioned, MICE, Meetings, Inventions, Conventions, a big pull to bring in tourists into the zone.
Lastly, maybe Georgie, tell us the rationale behind Clark Airport. Why do you think Clark makes sense as a gateway?
Well, it makes sense now as a gateway, as I've mentioned. We don't just focus on the passengers, right? But the passengers, on the other hand, we are able to support the immediate surroundings of Clark, which is from Central Luzon all the way to North Luzon, and we believe that this is part of helping Metro Manila decongest, right? Put all the investments there, put the airport there, and travel there. It will help decongest Manila at the same time provide employment, and drive an industry, and get more and more foreign direct investments in the Philippines.
Lastly, what are your visions for this airport in the next 10 years? How are you seeing it growing?
Yeah, in the next 10 years, we'll continue to build up for it to be a real aviation hub, the Clark Aviation Capital, not just as an aviation hub in the Philippines, but in the region, most specifically for those industrial-related companies.
All right. On that note, Mr. Jojit Alcazar, President of Clark International Airport Corporation, thank you so much for coming to the show, for talking to us, and for sustaining this conversation about the potentials of Clark Airport.
Thank you.